Friday night. Heights has soared into Athens, Georgia. Stegeman Coliseum is the place in the final regular season meet for both these teams here this evening as number 1 Oklahoma is set to take on number 9 Georgia here on the SEC Network. We welcome you inside Stegeman Coliseum. Caleb Frady Cat Hires and final regular season meet of the year for both these teams, looking to get good momentum going as you get into the SEC tournament next week.
They definitely are. These are two great teams. They both had very consistent seasons, and they're looking to carry that into tonight as well.
Let's talk first about Oklahoma. Audrey Davis, it kind of starts with her, the senior. I mean, I don't know what else you can say about her. So talented, one of the most decorated gymnasts in Oklahoma history.
She really is. A national champion last year. She has brought so much to this Oklahoma team, and she's continued it through to her 5th year. She's come back, and they are so glad she did. She's really led this team well.
9.9 or better in 60 of her 72 routines this year, has never scored below a 9.8 in her career. I don't know how that's possible.
Honestly, it's insane. The fact that she has hit 99.5% of her routines, including the last 238 routines, I don't think I've ever seen or heard anything like that. So they are lucky and happy to have her on their team.
Meanwhile, for Georgia, Lily Smith, SEC Freshman of the Year last year, really starting to come into her own here in her sophomore season.
She really is. After her freshman year, she had a great freshman year, obviously SEC Freshman of the Year. But coming into her sophomore season, she knows the ropes. She's really kind of settled in and become a leader for this team, and you'll see that tonight.
Coming off a career best 9.975 on the floor against LSU last week, had a career high 9.95 on beam last time they were here in Stegeman Coliseum, so she's really starting to put things together at the right time of the year.
She really is, and she's capable of some big scores, so that's awesome for her leading and coming into postseason.
Of course, senior night for Georgia here tonight in that final home meet of the year, and we'll take a look at Coach Landy there for Georgia and co-head coach, and really Georgia continues to get better here in her first season overseeing the program.
They really do. They've got a lot of new faces in the coaching staff and in the athletes. So that's a challenge to come in with all new faces, and they've really been able to improve this program a lot in 1 year.
See Ryan Roberts there, his first season as co-head coach, but has been with the program a long time. A good continuity there, getting a voice that's been around, and then also a fresh set of eyes on things.
Definitely. He's had a couple years under his belt at Georgia, and then he was at Alabama prior, so he knows collegiate gymnastics. And then bringing in a coaching staff that he's had experience with on the elite level and in club gymnastics really helps to keep that cohesiveness with the coaching staff.
Absolutely. Getting set here for the final meet of the regular season for both these teams, and Oklahoma coming in here top scoring program in the NCAA this season, and those road meets so important to that scoring to get a high score to set you up well for the postseason.
Exactly. Oklahoma's just looking to increase their NQS going into the SEC championship. It affects their seeding going into postseason, so they're looking to hit all of their routines and keep that consistency going that they've had all season.
And you heard NQS, your national qualifying score. Take your 6 highest scores, at least 3 from the road meets. So very important for Oklahoma in particular here tonight. You drop that top one, average those 5. It's a little bit of a complex system, really rewards consistently high scores.
It really does. And you say consistency, you're going to hear that all night with Oklahoma. They really do exude that consistency in all of their gymnastics in every meet, not just this year, but really throughout the last 10 years. And so you'll see that exemplified tonight.
We are just about set to go here as Georgia will go to work on vault. You see the lineup here for the Dogs as Nia Howard gets things started.
Starting off with a Yurchenko layout full. Very clean landing, a tiny hop. That vault starts from a 9.95, so she's already starting below the 10, so there will just be a small deduction on that small hop.
Another look.
She gets great amplitude and height off of the table. Great start for Georgia.
An opportunity for sure there on vault for Georgia to get a good score and get this home meet started quickly. And Danny Sievers will go first on bars here for Oklahoma.
The goal for starting off with this first routine is to really set the tone for the lineup. Danny Sievers is a senior. She's got a career high of a 9.975, so she's capable of almost perfection on this event, and that's exactly how you want to start off the lineup, with a nice, clean hit routine to get that momentum started.
So her NQS here on the season, 40th in Division I with a 9.88.
Solid first handstand. Beautiful releases. Moving very smoothly through this routine. You can see she's taking her time with those handstands. They're locked in right on top, into the dismount, and a perfectly stuck routine. You can see that's exactly how they want to start off that lineup.
She has a season high of a 9.925 here on the bars. We'll see how that one gets things started here for the Sooners. That was a really good start.
It really was. Clean all throughout. Her releases were beautiful. Handstands right on top. There's not going to be much that the judges can take from that routine.
One final look here at the dismount.
Her chest was perfectly leveled, not far down. Her feet didn't move. It's exactly what they wanted to see for that first routine.
Jeffrey Scott for Georgia.
Another Yurchenko layout full. I would say that's a stick. I don't know. What do you say, Caleb?
I don't know. I didn't see any movement when she landed. That was really good. Georgia going back-to-back here with a really solid start on the vault.
That's exactly what Coach Robert said that they want to start off with is these landings on vault. They haven't quite had that throughout the season. They definitely have increased their difficulty throughout the lineup, but they're really working on those landings. And going into postseason, that's going to be crucial, so they really want to see those landings tonight.
One look from the backside there, and that was really well stuck.
Maybe a tiny shuffle.
Here's Lily Peterson for Oklahoma, second up on the bars.
Lily's been a very consistent freshman for the Sooners. She struggled right here last week, but had no problems this time around. Something that the judges are looking for on bars is those handstands right on top in Oklahoma and those stuck landings. And so far, they're 2 for 2.
Back-to-back, and that's a good bounce back. You mentioned a little bit of a rough outing her last time out, 9.325 at Michigan.
Definitely, and that shows, you know, as a freshman to come back and hit this routine, to gain that confidence back, because she's been consistent all throughout the season. That was really uncharacteristic of her last year, so she was able to bounce back this week.
Nia Howard with the 9.8 there on that first vault. Chinga Batchke will go now third on the vault for Georgia.
Hoping to continue those clean landings. The Yurchenko 1.5. She had a lot of power going to that vault. You can see how far away from the table she was, which is great. The judges love to see that. However, she was a little over-rotated, had to take a big hop out of that vault. Great block off the horse. You can see how high she gets. Just a little bit over-rotated. But still, that's a 10-0 start value for them, so that's great to have that higher score, higher start value.
Absolutely. We mentioned just how consistent this Oklahoma squad has been this year. I mean, those are ridiculous numbers.
They truly are. I mean, Oklahoma is exemplary. Every team in the SEC is happy to have them join the conference because they'll just raise the level of competition.
Addison Feta will go third here on bars for the Sooners.
Another freshman with some huge releases. Clean pirouette. Oklahoma, they have tons of talent on their team, and they've got a great number of freshmen that are competing, including Addison Feta. And you can see why. Very clean routine, very consistent. And Coach Kindler has said that those freshmen have contributed very consistent routines, which is not, you don't typically see that for freshmen, so it's very impressive for this class.
9.875 last time out on the bars for her.
Beautiful form, her legs are glued, and maybe just a tiny shuffle on that dismount, but they're still very clean landings so far for Oklahoma.
Nayla Aquino.
She's got huge power into this Kazumatsu, and she stuck that cold. You hear the crowd, you can see her excitement. She's been waiting for that landing.
That was really good.
It was, and she's got a unique vault in that she has a different entry than the normal Yurchenko. She starts from a 10.0. It's a very difficult vault, and she nailed it.
Really good control there at the end to kind of ease herself down and not shuffle.
Exactly.
Here's Oklahoma back on bars.
Another powerhouse for the Sooners.
Faith Torres here for Oklahoma.
You just see they have insanely clean lines. There's no form breaks. They're on top of their handstands. They've got those clean landings. Again, another stuck cold dismount. There's not much that you're able to take from these routines on Oklahoma.
No, they're not going to give you a ton of opportunities to deduct, and you see right here why.
Beautiful form all around. You can see why her career high is a 9.975. Perfect. Honestly, I'm not sure what the judges will take on that.
There's Addie Wall, her vault in QS here on the season.
Another Yurchenko 1.5. Again, so much power, which is a good thing. The judges would rather see you over-rotate than under-rotate, but they're going to want to clean up those big steps heading into the postseason. Gets a great block off the table, but just want to see a little bit more control in that landing and absorb that.
Like so much, you'd rather have too much and be able to rein that in versus, to your point, get punished for not having enough.
Exactly.
Here is second in Division I.
We're in for a treat for this routine.
Audrey Davis.
Huge. The height that she gets on Matt Yeager is unbelievable. And just her form, her power, honestly, you don't typically use the word power on bars, but the power that she shows on this event is incredible. She hasn't yet scored a 10 this season. I know she's looking for that tiny shuffle on that dismount, so she won't get it tonight, but beautiful routine by Audrey Davis.
That was really, really good. You see why she is so decorated.
She is. The height, it's just her lines, her form is unmatched, and she can really attribute that to her coach, Ryan Roberts, who is her club coach.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he wants to see her do well as well tonight. So great routine for Audrey.
There's Anaya Smith.
The lone senior for the Bulldogs. She was honored tonight for senior night. Another Yurchenko 1.5. That landing was better. It was definitely more controlled. She just had to move the 1 foot, so that will be less of a deduction than the others. She's still going to want to see more control, though, but that was a great vault for Anaya.
You mentioned the lone senior. Impressive what both these teams are doing with so many youngsters on the roster.
Definitely, and it just sets you up when your freshmen and underclassmen get more experience. It sets you up for those future teams as well.
Here is Jordan Bowers.
Another leader on this team. She has been perfect. Her career high is a 10.0. You can just see the confidence that the Sooners have in their gymnastics. They trust their training. They trust how they've performed all year long. And they bring the same routine, same consistency week to week. Beautiful handstand. See if she can get that landing, and she does.
A lot of control there at the end. And a good finish.
This will be a big score for Oklahoma. Exactly how they wanted to start this meet with clean handstands, clean landings. Great first rotation.
Second look.
Beautiful full out. And their sticks, their feet, they just have sticky feet tonight, and those are contagious, and you can see they've had it tonight.
And we are exhibition now here, and Nicole King for Georgia going exhibition on the vault.
The exhibitions are great because the gymnasts that have not made the lineup, they can still get that competition experience to increase your depth, especially moving into postseason, you want to make sure that you have people in your back pocket in case something happens. And to have a 1.5, a 10-0 start value in your exhibition is great for the Bulldogs.
And you want to get that meet experience. It's one thing to do it in the gym. It's another to do it with the lights on and folks sitting in the stands watching.
Definitely adds a whole new layer of pressure.
Caitlin Smith will go on exhibition here on bars for Oklahoma.
Handstand right on top. Beautiful Maloney.
As you mentioned, Smith not cracking the lineup yet here this year, but valuable experience.
Tiny step, but overall very clean routine. A great exhibition that could be added to that lineup. It just continues to push the girls who are in the lineup as well to continue to be at their tip-top shape.
We'll go to break, and when we come up, we'll talk SEC standings here in the final regular season meet for both these teams on Friday Night Lights. Back here in Athens, Stegman Coliseum, a 4.955 for Oklahoma after the uneven bars, and Georgia with a 4.935 after the vault. Good start here for both these teams.
Definitely. I think both teams would be happy with that. Georgia really wanted to start off strong, and that is a very solid score for them to start off on vault.
We talk SEC standings here, and Oklahoma and LSU. It's an important meet for Oklahoma on a variety of fronts, but you're looking to keep pace and get that #1 overall seed, possibly as the SEC regular season champion. But of course, seeding for the SEC tournament a little bit different. Oklahoma could have the inside track there.
They definitely could. They're neck and neck with LSU, so really the meet tonight will determine the regular season. But then heading into the SEC championship, you want to be that #1 seed. It helps determine which event you're going to start on, but regardless, they are at the top. You can see why. So the SEC is a powerhouse. This will be Oklahoma's first SEC championship. They're excited and ready for next week.
If LSU takes care of its business tonight, it has the head-to-head. It would be the 1 seed, but Oklahoma's NQS score would make it the 1 seed. A little complicated there is for sure, but we'll talk about it more as we go. You see that note there on them being tied for the regular season. A top 10 matchup down in Gainesville tonight, Kentucky and Florida. A lot of good meets here tonight on that final regular season Friday night.
There definitely are, and it's just another opportunity for these teams to build, again, going into postseason. These regular season meets are so important for that, and the one-on-one just really enhances their skills, enhances their routines enough to get into that perfection that they're going to need going into postseason.
We'll take another timeout, then you'll have vault and uneven bars here in Athens. One rotation in the books here. Georgia getting things started on the vault.
They did, and they should be happy with this. They have room to improve, but they had a great first score, and Oklahoma just continuing the consistency with those sticky feet. They just had a really impressive rotation. Georgia ending with this exclamation point with Nyla Aquino's 9.95 to end the lineup.
9.95, like you mentioned there, to end things, and again a 4.935 for Georgia here after one rotation. Good to kind of know where you stand here as you get set to go on bars. And KJ Kindler there for Oklahoma. I think you're really happy with a 4.955 after one rotation.
Definitely. Exactly where they want to be, and Coach Kindler says that, she wants them to give their best effort. Whether that's 90% today, she wants them to come with 90%. Whether that's 110%, she wants them to come with 110%. So far on the first event, I think they're doing that.
Yeah. No real complaints there of a 4.955. The drop would be the 9.85 there for Audrey Davis. And when that's your drop, you're doing okay.
You really are. And honestly, she's going to be disappointed with that, even though it's a fabulous score still. She's got beautiful gymnastics. But Oklahoma's going to move on to the second event and just keep doing what they're doing.
So Oklahoma will have vault here in our second rotation. Georgia will go to the uneven bars. And Lily Peterson will get things started here, 14th in Division I with her vault in QS.
Oklahoma's got a bunch of difficulty on this event, starting with a perfectly stuck Yurchenko 1.5. If they can continue those sticky feet heading into this event, then you're going to see some big scores on vault tonight.
Saw Georgia with a few loose feet there on those landings. This one's stuck.
She sure did. She doesn't get a ton of distance from the vault, but it's very clean throughout. She gets a great walk off the horse and obviously ends with that perfect stick.
And that's that balance of that power on the jump versus getting that landing stuck.
Exactly. You want the power, but you want to keep that control as well.
Chinga Batchkin will go to work here for Georgia, getting things started on the uneven bars.
So far, so good for the junior. Nice release moves and handstands right on top. Full pirouette into that double tug dismount. And that's the stick you want to see. That was a great way to start the lineup.
That gets the home crowd fired up there on that first attempt on the uneven bars. And that's why you put folks at that top of that lineup in the rotation to get things started right.
And this is her first time starting the bars lineup. Normally it's Nia Howard. She had some trouble last week, and so Chinga stepping in and really performing. Beautiful bar routine to start off that lineup.
We saw Coach Landy. Before she landed, she knew that that was a good one.
I know. I love her excitement throughout this meet. You can tell she's having fun. And another stick for Oklahoma. They truly are just unmatched with their consistency in the landings. Coach Kindler says that just is attributed to their training, what they put into practice every single day, the discipline that they show day in and day out. Not just this year, again, it's just the culture of the program, and it shines through their gymnastics.
Sadie Jane Berry here for Georgia, a 9.775 here on the bars this season for Georgia.
Another Maloney, Pack Salto. Looks like she lost a little bit of momentum there, but she was able to keep it going. Beautiful Stalder. Into the double tuck and just a tiny hop. But again, a very good routine, and I believe Coach Roberts, he really wants them to start off strong on these first two events, and so far so good for the dogs.
For a second look.
Looks like she was a little bit close to that low bar on that release move, but she was able to cover it well and continue her routine smoothly without a hitch. Great routine for the freshman.
I'm always in awe of this. It's so amazing to watch.
It really is. They make it look easy, that's for sure.
There's Wells for Oklahoma.
Another Yurchenko 1.5. And another very clean landing. She maybe shuffled her heel just slightly, but they had some struggles with their landings last week as well, and so this is already a major improvement.
You see why they're so good. Just general consistency. And that's your first kind of not great landing there, but your first two stuck.
Yes.
You see why they score so high.
Exactly. And that landing was still considered great for sure. So 3 for 3 on the clean landings for Oklahoma.
Holly Snyder.
Huge release. Straight into the bail on the low bar. Got some unique straight body handstands right on top. Into the dismount and another stick.
And 9.875 last week in Baton Rouge, looking to improve right there.
You can tell they're really polishing up. Their handstands are getting right on top. Their landings are becoming cleaner. They're getting more comfortable with their routines. And this is exactly the time you want to see that. A stick and a smile for Holly Snyder.
Addison Feta, who had the 9.875 on bars, will go on vault here.
Oklahoma has a full lineup of 10-0 start values. A tiny shovel, she tried to hang on to it. So far they haven't had a score lower than a 9.8, so that's a great vault lineup. So a tiny hop, but still very controlled. Great job for Oklahoma.
Addie Wall with the 9.88. She'll go fourth here on bars for Georgia. Had a 9.875 last week.
She did, and Addie is the consistent powerhouse on every event for the Dogs. In her sophomore season, she and Lily Smith have really taken the reins and kind of stepped into that leadership role. I know they're still underclassmen, but Coach Roberts has said that they really have settled into their roles and really become leaders for the team.
Bodes so well for the future. That'll bode well for the score. Another stuck landing.
Stick. Incredible.
Where you saw Georgia have a little too much power there on the vault, they have really cleaned it up here on bars on these dismounts.
They have. And those sticky feet, as I said, they are contagious, so hopefully they can carry that throughout the lineup.
Elle Miller, 9.84 here on the season.
Very clean 1.5. Just a step out of that. But again, it's going to be another 10-0 start value, another high score.
For someone new to the sport, you see the 1 foot step out versus the hop. What would you rather have?
You'd definitely rather have the step. It's a lower deduction than if you had a hop. It shows more control. So that's good training on her part to keep that 1 foot down.
There's Jeffrey Scott, a 9.88 here on the bars. Georgia has been really good on the bars here through 4.
They have, and they've got 2 stronger teams in the back half of this lineup. Another powerful bar swinger is Jeffrey. You can see the height she gets on that release move. She'll be looking for the stick. And she gets it.
Crowd certainly approves. You see her teammates know that was a really good score coming here.
It is very clean throughout. You can tell they're really just settling into these routines and getting comfortable and enjoying those sticks. They're really taking advantage of this last home meet of the season.
Jordan Bowers will go in the final vault here for Oklahoma.
This is a big 1.5. Again, just a tiny step. So they can even improve. This is still going to be a big vault score for Oklahoma, but there's room for improvement. Perfect form throughout the air. Really just that step that needs to be controlled, but other than that, it's a beautiful vault.
And Lily Smith will close things out here for Georgia. 9.89 here on the season. Georgia looking to finish strong here on the bars.
Beautiful lines for Lily. She's capable of perfection here as well. It's going to be a big score for Jeffrey Scott, so she's going to want to build upon that and hopefully take advantage with another stick. And she got it.
Stick after stick on the landings here on the bars.
That's exactly what you want to see with your lineup. The routine's built. Each routine that went got better and better. The judges are able to score higher and higher, and then you kind of back them into a corner. So if Jeffrey had a high score and Lily had a beautiful routine as well,
got to give her one.
There's not much room. Great start on these first 2 events. That's exactly how the Dogs wanted to start out.
You see a score getting a perfect 10.
You see one perfect 10. It looks like she got a 9.975.
Yeah. One judge offering up a really good endorsement there as Oklahoma will go exhibition on the vault. Ava Segfeld.
Actually, Audrey Davis in that 1.5 was, again, very powerful. She's going to want to control that a little bit more. But they've got 10-0 start values across the board, and that's exactly what you want to see in your lineup.
So the scores will continue to populate here as Georgia wraps up the bars really good. And a strong second rotation for the Bulldogs. And as Georgia will go exhibition here. And Sydney Fitzgerald.
You'll see a lot of exhibitions tonight. Again, it's just that extra experience for those that don't necessarily have the experience throughout the season. Just really adding that depth to your lineup. So far, so good for Sydney Fitzgerald. She has competed bars before, so it's just kind of getting a refresh. And she continued it with that stuck landing.
Georgia very consistent on the bars. Well, you saw Lily Smith's 9.975 on the bars. We'll talk with her when we come back. 2 rotations in the books here, and after 2, Oklahoma with a 9.9175. Georgia with a 9.8925, and of course, SEC Freshman of the Year last season, Lily Smith. Part of the scores here for Georgia. Let's get to know her.
My favorite song is Guilty Conscious by Tate McRae. My favorite movie is The Notebook. My favorite hobby is baking. My favorite TV show growing up was Zoe 101. My favorite vacation destination, Turks Caicos. One thing I can't live without is lip gloss.
Slightly jealous. I didn't know what Turks and Caicos was when I was in college, so
Exactly.
quite the vacation spot there. But a good start here for Georgia. You see she'll get set to go here on balance beam in a few moments. 20th in Division I. Georgia's going to be relying on her to get a good score.
They are. They've started off strong, and they're going to want to keep it going to these next 2 events.
We'll take another timeout and then rotation number 3 here on the SEC Network. Georgia able to tighten up this score here in that second rotation. Oklahoma on vault.
Oklahoma had a great vault rotation. They had some room to improve, but they still didn't count a score lower than a 9.9, so an awesome rotation for the Sooners.
Meanwhile, for Georgia, stuck landing after stuck landing on the bars, and that really gave Georgia a good score here in the second apparatus.
They did. They are keeping it tight here with some huge scores, rounding out the lineup with Lily Smith's 9.975. Incredible rotation for the Dogs.
So Georgia will go to the balance beam here in the third rotation. Oklahoma will go to the floor. And after the first rotation, Georgia kind of keeping pace there. So many stuck landings, and it built. You saw a first good rotation, then a second. Everybody in the lineup performed and delivered.
They really did, and beam and floor have really been strong events for them. So starting off strong on those first 2 that haven't necessarily been as strong for them is a great start, and they're just going to want to continue to build that momentum.
9.8925 here. I think if you're Georgia, you're pretty pleased with where you're at here after 2. If you're Oklahoma, particularly on vault, you maybe feel like you left a little bit on the table.
You know, I would say they feel that way because
Sure.
they are capable of better vaults. However, their score was still a 49.625. You can't really be
So
disappointed
bad.
with
So
that.
bad.
Exactly. So while they can be better, that score, they're still going to be happy with it, and they're going to get a big score tonight.
And you only feel that way because you know, to your point, what they're capable of and what those average scores have been here this season. You know, I mean, they could hit 10s just about on every single one.
Exactly. You look at the career highs of all the athletes in the lineups, and they are incredible, if not perfection, very near perfection. And so that's what they expect when they come out on the floor. But I would say they're feeling in a very good place heading into this third rotation.
So we are set for the third rotation here. And Nia Howard will get things started for Georgia on the beam. I'm old enough that I didn't realize SpongeBob was still a popular show with the youngsters, but I guess so.
I agree. You've seen it in a couple of their get-to-know-yous.
Yeah.
And I can't say I really watched the show, but I appreciate their love for it, and good to know that it's still around.
Wasn't my cup of tea, but Nia Howard getting to work here for Georgia on the beam.
Is really looking to start this lineup off strong. So far, so good with that handspring layout step out.
best score of the season.
Beam has been a little bit of an iffy event for the Georgia Bulldogs in history, but this year, that's not the case. It's really been a solid event for them, and they do really build throughout their lineup.
Just a small wiggle there a moment ago.
Ready for the dismount. Back handspring gainer layout full. And again, another stuck landing. Hopefully those will stick throughout this lineup as well.
Good start there on that first rotation for Georgia.
What judges are looking for is just clean, no wobbles, of course, throughout the routine, and just the fact that the gymnasts are able to keep their momentum going through the routine, keep the flow of the routine, and make it look effortless. And then, of course, the stuck landings.
Here's Audrey Davis on floor for Oklahoma, 9.895 here on the season.
Audrey's got a really fun routine, really showcases her personality, starting off the front double full.
Always the fun part of floor, you get to see personalization.
You definitely do, and it allows them to kind of show their personality and loosen up a little bit and have some fun with their teammates.
.9925 per season and career high here on the floor. A 9.9 last week at home against Michigan.
They're really looking for those clean landings. That was great for her last pass. You'll notice that a lot of gymnasts now have 2 passes rather than 3, and that is allowed in college gymnastics. It definitely preserves your body and helps you to perfect the 2 passes that you have while maintaining the difficulty in those 2 passes, but then they add more difficulty in their dance as well.
Solid start on the floor here for Oklahoma as Audrey Davis gets it started.
Again, starting off with that E-level skill, very clean landing. That'll be a great high score to start off the Sooners on floor.
Georgia on beam and Brooke Lachowski.
Brooke has been in the lineup earlier on in the season. It's good to see her back in that second spot. A unique triple series with a handspring layout. That added level of difficulty with that third skill.
9.9 once this season and 9.875 in her last outing on the beam.
Switch half. So far, she's been very solid. Strong with this dismount. Round off 1.5. And just a tiny hop. Coach Lanny saluting there with her. Another great routine.
Second pass here on the beam for Georgia.
Yeah, and as a freshman, you know, beam is not an easy event to compete, and she handled that really well. Great routine for Brooke Lachowski.
Expect a good score there for her. Danielle Sievers, the senior, will go second here on the floor for Oklahoma.
Talk about a personality. Coach Kindler said that Danny has one of the biggest personalities on the team, bringing that fiery, fun personality. You can see it in this routine with the Latin flair. Beautiful double pike to start off. Got a number of personalities on the team. The biggest being Danae and Danny and bringing that fun aspect, but then you've got Faith Torres, who's more of a calm personality. You've got Jordan Bowers, who's more of a serious, more calm and collected. So it's a great mix of personalities to really balance out the team and to lead the team. It always helps with the team cohesion.
Always a mix of personalities there, and you get to see all those on display here on floor. This is just the 4th floor attempt here on the season. Season high 9.925 last time out against Michigan.
And a wink to the crowd. Great second routine for the Sooners.
Big smile. I think they're going to get a really good score there.
She gets great height in this double pike. You can see the control that they have in their landings. Nice 2-flip pass, ending with that double tuck, and again, very clean landings. Her feet did not move on that.
Back on beam here, Anya Turner for Georgia.
Anya is a beam specialist. And you'll see why. She's got very clean skills. She's got a calm presence up there. Handspring layout, step out, layout, step out. Very solid. She's been solid this whole season. Her whole season last year as a freshman, she really showed her confidence and exuded her talents here on this event. Acro.
Scored her career high here this season, a 9.975.
When you're a specialist, you're expected to do your job, on this one event, and she really has been able to do that week in and week out. Ending with the dismount, round off 1.5. She's a little bit short on that landing, but very clean. That will be the biggest deduction, is that dismount. But again, another solid hit routine for the dogs.
Specialist delivers here for Georgia.
A little bit short, but great routine.
Oklahoma now on floor. And the L. Miller here, a 9.885 NQS on the season.
Starting off with a front through to a double tuck. As we get into postseason, the scores get so close. There's 4 to 6 judges on each event, so there's more than the 2 that are in the regular season. And so the scores just get that much tighter. You've got to be perfect. And so really honing in on these landings. Oklahoma's doing great so far with that, but that's something that's a huge focus going into these postseason meets.
First pass.
2-flip pass, again, flawless with that layout to Rudy.
Do you like the change to the 2 passes versus the 3rd?
I think it just depends on the gymnast and depends on the routine, but I think it's definitely important if, gymnastics is hard on the body and the floor exercise is really hard on the body. So if you're able to compete your routines cleanly with those 2 passes, I'm all for it. One of the challenges of collegiate gymnastics is keeping your body strong and maintaining your lineups throughout the season week after week. And so any way that they're able to do that and stay healthy, that's a win. Interesting ending pose for Elle Miller, but a very clean routine. So far there have not been many deductions in this floor lineup. Another solid score for Oklahoma.
There's Lily Smith. She'll go fourth here on the beam for Georgia.
Lily's such a graceful gymnast. You can see it in her line, especially on beam. Beautiful front aerial into a back tuck. It's a different series, but she handled it beautifully.
Definitely looking to bounce back at 9.45 at LSU.
And you really just want to forget those moments and
Yep.
remember the good routines and trust your training and bounce back. So it looks like so far so good. Hopefully she can continue that and gain some confidence back on this event.
Scored a 9.95 on the apparatus this season.
Big balance check. When you break at the hips like that, it's a significant deduction. But she fought to stay on. Into her dismount, gain her layout full, and landing. So overall, a good routine. They're probably going to want to drop that score just with that big balance check. So hopefully they can continue to build throughout these next routines.
And credit the mental focus there. You know when that happens, you're about to ding really hard. But to finish strong, and that was a really good routine the rest of the way.
It was, and that's one of the hardest things is to bounce back and, you know, once you have that mistake, to be able to finish your routine strong, and she did that well. It shows her experience as a gymnast to be able to finish strong.
Madison Feta, the fourth up here for Oklahoma.
Feta, one of the freshmen that's in the all-around tonight, which says a lot, especially on Oklahoma's team with the talent that they have. To have a freshman break into the lineup on all 4 events is very impressive, and she and Lily Peterson have really contributed a ton to the lineups this year. Lily's capable of all-around as well. Coach Kindler has talked about their consistency as a freshman class and how impressive it is. They've only had 1 to 2 falls throughout this whole season, and that just says a lot with their mindset going into their routines and their confidence as gymnasts.
Of course, with the change to the 2 passes versus the 3, it allows for more artistic, the dance portion of the personality here that you get in that floor routine.
Exactly.
The creativity really comes out.
Yes, and Oklahoma has some really unique routines. They stand out. Their choreography is very unique to each of them. And then when you have the big tumbling and clean landings on top of that, just the perfect combo. Building nicely in the lineup with these scores. They've started off with 9.875s and increasing to those 9.9s. They're going to want to keep building upon those throughout this lineup.
Second pass.
Up next is Kara Aker. She is a seasoned gymnast, especially on this event, a 2-time All-American on beam. In her time at Utah, this is her first year here at Georgia as a transfer. She's really contributed big on this event for the Bulldogs.
Scored a 9.925 twice this season.
With her experience at Utah, she brings a lot of high-level competition experience with her time before college. She's a 2020 U.S. Olympic team alternate, 4-year member of the USA national team, and a 2-time world champion as a Team USA member. So she really brings that elite experience and the collegiate experience from Utah. So that's somebody you want on your team to have that, because there are a lot of new faces, a lot of freshmen, a lot of underclassmen that haven't necessarily seen those big competitions. And so to have somebody who has leading the team is a huge benefit.
Has a career perfect 10 on this event, so that's a really good option to have there in that 5 spot in the rotation.
Exactly, and you can see why with this routine. Into the dismounted cartwheel gainer, layout full. Beautiful. That's going to be a huge score for the Dogs.
Big score there by Kara Aker. And we go over to floor, and Jordan Bowers for Oklahoma. SEC Gymnast of the Week, a 3.9775 last week in the all-around, and the season leader on floor in Division I.
You can see the intensity already before she starts her routine. Not only does she bring the intensity, but she brings the big gymnastics along with it. And I asked Coach Kindler how she is as a leader, and she says that, you know, she's not necessarily the most vocal leader, but she leads by example and she's very stoic. But when she does need to be vocal, she can be. And within the meet, she's more reserved, but that's partly because she's at the end of each of the lineups, and so she's really got to be in the zone throughout the lineups, whereas Audrey Davis is at the beginning of the lineup, so she can get her routine out of the way and then be loud and boisterous for the team. Jordan can be more of a quiet supporter at the end of those lineups and then contribute with her routines. As you can see, this is a huge routine so far for her.
And as you mentioned, you stack it there. You want those good scores early so you continue to pressure those judges. So you've got the D1 scoring leader going 5th in the rotation. The top of the rotation got to perform.
They do, and it really is a lot of strategy that goes into the lineups. And Coach Kindler said the first routine is not the worst routine, and sometimes she reminds the judges of that so that they know, you know, typically the first routine is one of your better gymnasts to be able to start that lineup off strong and to continue that momentum through those next routines and then build with the best routines at the end as well.
Pass one there.
Huge height, huge difficulty, very clean throughout. Truly, there are not many deductions that Oklahoma's letting on floor.
And Jeffrey Scott will finish the beam here for Georgia, and there's the moonwalk on the beam of Georgia tradition, and got the pressure on here in that 6th spot.
She does. They have a solid lineup. They're definitely going to want to drop Lily Smith's 9.75 and get that overall beam score up just slightly. So hopefully Jeffrey can do that in this routine. She's got a lot of unique skills, starting with that front handspring into the handspring layout. She adds that level of difficulty that she doesn't have to add, but the fact that she can do it so cleanly is very impressive and good for the judges to see. She was locked in so far. Beautiful leap combo. And here it is. A huge crowd pleaser here in Athens.
Always gets the home crowd excited.
Especially when you can hit a routine like this, front handspring, front full dismount. It's a tiny hop, but I think that's going to let them drop that 9.75 from Lily Smith.
Did exactly what she needed to do there, going 6th in the rotation.
Again, that famous moonwalk, it's been around for years, but never ceases to excite the Athens crowd.
The control there.
I mean, I can't even do that on the floor, so it's impressive.
So that will bring Faith Torres to the floor here for Oklahoma. And a really good, solid score here will put Oklahoma in great position to drop a 9.875.
Exactly, and Oklahoma consistently drops high 9/8s, and when you're doing that, you're in a pretty good place. Faith is capable of a big score here on floor.
Has a 10 on her ledger here this season against Florida.
She has really shown improvements this year in the all-around, especially settling in on bars is where her biggest improvements have been, but you can see how she contributes to each event. She's very consistent, and she really brings that calming presence to the team. Coach Kindler says she doesn't really let much faze her, and that's somebody you want leading your team. If you have a mistake, you know she's able to bounce back and set that example for her team and continue the momentum if there is a mistake. But so far, so good in this Florida team. No mistakes that I've seen.
Good finish to the floor here for Oklahoma and Faith Torres, and she's very excited with her performance there.
Definitely just continuing. Those Quinn landing a huge double layout for that first pass, and great control on that landing. They've got the difficulty, but they also have the cleanliness to get those high scores, and a 49.55 probably will be higher with Faith Torres' score. Great rotation for the Sooners.
Zora Morgan will go on exhibition here for Georgia.
One of the things that Coach Robert said that has been a fun transition for Cecile Landy coming from elite gymnastics to college is that it's fun. Elite gymnastics is more individualized. This is obviously a team sport, and elite gymnastics is tough. You know, there's a lot of disappointments because very few gymnasts make it to the top, whereas in college there are so many things to celebrate. Every routine, week in and week out, it's just a lot of fun. And so you can see that even when she's supporting her team. After each routine, she's giving them huge hugs. It's just been a fun transition. And so it's been fun to see her salute with them and really embrace the collegiate atmosphere. Finishing off with a round-off 1.5, a small hop, but a solid exhibition routine for Zora Morgan.
Oklahoma here on floor. Lily Peterson will go in exhibition competition here for the Sooners.
Although they have, you know, the all-arounders that they have struggled with injuries this year. Especially early on in the season, they had a lot of girls that were just watching the gymnastics and unable to train. And so this back half of the season, they've really been able to take advantage of these exhibition routines to be able to get that experience and increase their depth heading into the biggest meets of the year.
I beg your pardon, Kelsey Slade is on the floor here for Oklahoma. And you mentioned just building that depth. She's cracked the lineup once this season on bars against Arkansas. This is that time of year where you want people to be performing well and get that experience. To your point, you never know when an injury is going to happen. Somebody's got to step up, and you've got to count that score.
They do. And in their exhibition so far, she landed a little bit short on that last pass. She was able to save it and not count a fall. But getting that endurance up for those floor teams, that's part of this as well.
You get late into the meet here, you're going third, fourth on the floor, you start getting tired.
You definitely do. But as I was saying, those exhibition routines, Coach Kindler was proud of those because they scored higher scores than the actual routines in the lineup, and that's exactly what you want to see for the exhibitions.
I need a Red Bull just watching it here. We are through 3 rotations. Georgia will be on floor here when we come back. The Coliseum lit up as we head to our 4th rotation, 148.8 And a 148.3 our scores. We talked about her to open things up on the broadcast. Let's get to know national champion and senior for Oklahoma, Audrey Davis.
KJ actually asked me before season started last year if I wanted to take a 5th year. So I knew before the entire season even started that I was gonna come back. I took a few weeks to think about it and talk to the other 5th years like Olivia and Carrie who had come back before and just see how their experience was and like what they thought about it. And I was also thinking that I have such a healthy body and I'm feeling good. And when you think about it, gymnastics is such a small part of your life. You know, it's like 22 years-ish, if that. And then you have so much longer after that. So why not take one more year and have that opportunity? Not a lot of people have that opportunity. So I was like, why not? Let's just do it. And it's been great. And I'm super blessed and honored to be able to be back. I think that I'm kind of like a quiet, I like to do my gymnastics and hopefully lead by example with what I'm doing. I speak in the circle before we start, and it's whatever comes to me that day whenever I'm feeling it. It's just more like to trust yourself in your gymnastics because you've been here, you've done that for so long. So like when you go out there on the competition floor, it's no different. And I think I'm just a calm, relaxed leader.
Third rotation, Georgia on the beam, and its second best score of the night.
Yeah, they had some uncharacteristic mistakes in the middle of the lineup, but they really finished strong with Kara Aker and Jeffrey Scott. A 9.925 here for Kara Aker, and beautiful routine to really get that momentum going back on the back half of the lineup.
Then on floor, Oklahoma not 49.625.
Again, another huge 49 score. They really built on the back of their lineup, ending with 3 9.95s, one being from Jordan Bowers.
Impressive scores there when you're dropping a 9.875. You're definitely doing something right there. And meanwhile, Oklahoma will go to the beam, and Audrey Davis will get things started on the beam here for Oklahoma. And see the scores here. Oklahoma just that consistent scoring, able to continue to stretch its overall lead out.
Yeah, they really are, and they have gained some momentum here and kind of put a little buffer between the scores, but I think both teams are going to be happy. This has been a phenomenal SEC matchup tonight, and they're going to want to continue that on their last event.
Yeah, Georgia can't be terrible at 7-148.3. They generally overall competed really well here tonight. There have been no big snafus that you can really point out and say, got to clean that up. It's a lot of little things.
It really is, and what Coach Roberts says is they want to hit 24 for 24. So far, they're on track with that. They've had some mistakes, but nothing major, and really they're on track to get one of the highest scores that they've had so far this season.
Absolutely. There's a familiar face.
Exactly. Georgia legend Suzanne Yocklin. It's always good to see her continuing to support the programs, and she's a huge support, especially for the newer faces and newer coaches. She's really been a support system for this program.
It's always good to see her around and checking out the program here as Georgia looking to end this regular season strong and get a good score here as you go ready for the postseason. And Audrey Davis will get things started here on beam for Oklahoma. 9-9 NQS score here this season. Some final words of encouragement there.
Former national champion on this event. And that says a lot when you have a national champion starting your beam lineup.
Yeah.
You heard her talking about coming back for a 5th year. And Coach Kindler said she really didn't question it. Her body was in a good place. And she said she's just a really kind person, and she wanted to be here for her team. There was no question of her coming back. Very solid handspring layout to start off this routine. Showing off her flexibility. I'd say one thing that stands out with Oklahoma on beam is their ability to keep their rhythm throughout their routine. The fact that they're just able to move smoothly throughout their skills and continue it into their dance really shows and makes it look effortless. beautiful yang bow. You throw your head back like that and lose sight of the beam. That adds tons of difficulty. Dismount, round up double full, and a stuck landing to start that lineup. She fought for that one. Again, when you have your national champion starting off their lineup, that's good news. You can feel pretty confident she's going to hit her routine, and she sure did. That was a beautiful start for the Sooners.
Exactly what you were looking for there. On that fourth rotation to get things started, here's Erin Williams, a 9.845 flooring QS here on the season.
Something that Coach Roberts has said that they've really tried to improve upon this year is their communication. And I asked kind of what is contributing to the team cohesion and how are they getting all these new faces. A beautiful first pass there for Erin Williams. How are they getting all these new faces to, you know, really be on board with the mission? And you can see that they've already improved with their consistency drastically from last year to this year with tons of new people. And he said something that's done that is their consistency in their routine. He is a big fan of systems. He has a military background, and so he creates a lot of structure for their schedules, for their practices, for the way that they, take their day-to-day. They do mindset training with a mindset coach on a weekly basis, and that has really improved their ability to stay consistent in the gym and out.
Ready for that second pass.
Double tuck for that third pass. Throws her head back. Great landing. And all smiles for Erin Williams for that first routine.
She had brought 4 straight 9.8.5s on the floor coming into tonight, and that one looked really good as well.
She's got lots of power, and she's had some moments where she's had some trouble controlling. She really covered that one up. She was a little off center, but she was able to smoothly recover from that. And then this last pass was very clean. She didn't look tired at all for that double tuck.
Here is Addison Feta, second on beam here for Oklahoma.
One of the things that Coach Kindler has said has contributed to the Sooners' cohesion as a team is really focusing on their communication and their relationship. So they really dug deep in the preseason to get to know each other, to be vulnerable with each other, and have these very open conversations that brought them closer as a team. They even lowered their roster size to make it a smaller team and have those athletes be a closer knit group.
Those connections so important. Feta's coming off a career high 9.925 on the beam.
She does not look like a freshman up there on the beam. She looks very confident, like she's done this a million times, which she probably has, just maybe not in college gymnastics. Preparing for the dismount and back handspring gainer layout full. Flawless. So far, so good. That was a beautiful routine. She's happy with that one, and a big hug from Coach Kindler.
Take a look here.
Got very clean lines. Really no form breaks at the routines. That handspring layout was just beautiful. And another stuck landing for the Sooners.
Nicole King will go second here on the floor. Cheer from Johns Creek.
It's good to see Nicole King in the lineup. She faced some injuries in her career. So to bounce back and see her on these vault and floor is great to see.
This is her third time on the floor here this season. A 9.75, her best mark here this year.
It's always fun to be in front of your home crowd for floor routines.
Yeah.
Music's louder, the crowds get into it. You
It's
can really
a little
just have
different.
fun with it. Exactly. Great 1.5 front layout. Something that the athletes practice too is engaging the crowd, and you can see her eye contact throughout the routine. I would say that's going to beat her highest score so far this season.
Absolutely. She's really happy with that one, you can tell.
She had great difficulty in that front double full. Really finishing it off strong with this 1.5 front layout. She should be happy with that one.
See Faye to get a 9.925 here on beam for Oklahoma. And Lily Peterson now third up here for the Sooners.
Following 2 scores of a 9.9 or higher, she'd like to keep that momentum going. Solid handspring layout to start. Solid side summy. Preparing for her dismount. Another round up double full. A step back, but another clean routine for Oklahoma.
Take a look.
She really is solid, and as a freshman, again, to do beam as a freshman in an away crowd, that's no small task, and she handled that really well.
See Nicole King getting the 9.9, and that's a career high on floor for her. Chinga back skate now.
Starting off with a full in. Some E difficulty skill. Very clean landing. Talk about experience. Chinga has experience on the international level as well. An Olympian. Bring that experience into this team again is just crucial, especially when you've got some new faces joining, and so to be able to fall back on that, she's been on a big stage before and is able to handle pressure situations.
Native of Budapest, Hungary. Comes in here after matching her season best 9.875 last week.
Deep breath before her last pass. 2.5 punch front. Great control on that. Looked like her feet were a little far behind her, but she was able to recover and have a very clean landing. Great routine for Chinga.
Real excited with that one.
Georgia's putting together a really solid meet. This is exactly what they wanted to do, to put 4 events together fully, and there's still room to improve for both of these teams. But I think both will be happy so far with how they've competed.
Jordan Bauer, 6th best in Division I on the beam.
loud cheers for that Fleur team. See what that score comes in as, but that definitely makes your Beam routine challenging when the away crowd gets into the scores for the home team. Jordan doesn't seem to be phased. She's a pro.
Had her career best 9.975 last week against Michigan.
She's had a 10 on every event but Beam, so I know she's really wanting to get that before she's done with college gymnastics.
Chingabaski did a 9.925 for Georgia on the floor.
Challenge for each team in the competition is to stay within themselves and stay within their bubble. And both teams have really been able to do that well tonight. And a stuck landing. That's going to be another huge score. I really didn't see much seduction. Coach Kindler's happy with that.
Big hug.
Flawless dismount. And a big smile from Jordan Bowers. She really does deserve a 10. I hope they give it to her so that she can get that gym slam of 10.0 on every event.
Addie Wall getting set to go here on floor, her favorite event. So see what she brings to the table here for Georgia.
You can see she has a lot of fun on this event, but she also has some big skills, starting off with this first pass. Full in. Perfect landing. They're allowed to lunge out of their skills. As long as their first foot does not drag back, there's no deduction for lunging out.
In here with two straight 9.875s.
So far, Georgia's got great momentum on these scores. They're building exactly how they want to for this lineup. And they've got some powerhouses on the back end. Along with Lily, Addie has stepped into this leadership role as well, which normally you don't see your sophomores as the leaders on the team, but Coach Roberts says they've really stepped into that leadership role. And beautiful last pass, very clean routine. I think that'll continue the 9.9s.
That may top her previous two scores. Minimal deductions there.
Showing why she loves this event. It's so fun to come out here and do those powerful skills and do them well, and she does them well every time.
And you saw there on the screen during the floor routine, Jordan Bowers getting a 9.95.
I'd like to know what they took. It was a great routine.
Ava Sigfeld will go to the beam now for Oklahoma.
She actually has gotten a 10 on this event before.
9.8 last week in the Michigan meet.
Starting off the front aerial to a split jump. Back handspring layout, step out. Solid. Some big cheers from her team in the background. As lonely as Beam can feel up there, you know your team's really competing that routine with you. Preparing for the dismount, the back handspring. Gainer layout full and another stick. They have just been very consistent throughout these routines. It's not easy to come into an away crowd, and they have not been phased.
Got Oklahoma fans off over to our left. They are pleased with the effort there, giving congratulations. There's Nyla Aquino.
Talking about personality, Nyla's got the biggest on the team, which you can see exhibited in this floor routine. Starting off with a huge double tuck. She gets so high in the air and has great control. Coach Roberts says she is just wide open, so much fun, brings so much personality into the gym. When he told me that, I said, you know what, that's not surprising. Just based on her floor routine, she has so much fun with this. Crowd loves it as well.
High energy routine.
High energy person as well, I think. You can see she gets major height on everything she does, even her leaps.
You're looking back at the team there, getting them into it.
Preparing for her last pass. Double pike. She was so open in that double pike. Almost could have been a double layout. She landed so cleanly. Awesome routine. That could be another big score to build on these 9-9s for Georgia.
She is fired up. You see the high energy there. That one brought the home crowd to its feet.
We're calling for a 10. We have yet to see a 10 tonight, but maybe now's the time. She's just so impressive with the power that she gets, yet she's still able to control those landings. This is going to be a big score for Georgia.
Sigfeld with a 9.925 there on that previous beam for Oklahoma. And here's Faith Torres and a 9.95, and I think Georgia
We got 110.
got one.
A 9.975 for Nyla Aquino.
Unbelievable. That's a really good score for Georgia.
Definitely was. This is exactly the competitor you want on beam when the crowd gets loud like that. Nothing phases her. She's able to really keep that calm demeanor. She's such a confident gymnast. One thing about the upperclassmen of Oklahoma is they just exude that confidence. And that really trickles down throughout the team, and I think that contributes to a lot of their success. Can spring. Banner layout full. Another stick. And she is happy with that one.
Another good score here for Oklahoma.
They have really just been minimal deductions for Oklahoma tonight. It's going to be a big score for them.
Sigfeld got the 9.925 there for Oklahoma on the previous beam. There's Lily Smith, who brings a 9.915 in here on her NQS. This will be a big closer here for Georgia.
It will be really the exclamation point on the night. Georgia's already got a big all-around score, and so does Oklahoma. They're really close to a 198. That would be the first time in a long time that Georgia's gotten a 198 all-around score. So we'll see if Lily Smith can get them over that benchmark. Starting off with a double front, completely stuck, no deductions. Beautiful start. This has been a fabulous meet for both teams. They have really come out here and put their all on the floor. Looking to hit these last couple routines and really end the night hitting all their routines with a strong finish, really gaining all that confidence heading into postseason. Very clean landing on that last pass and her dance. This is going to be another huge score. One more pass for Lily. I'm not sure what they're going to take. They've got a 9975 to follow. We'll see what score that floor routine gets, but I think that's going to put them over the 198 mark for their all-around.
She had a 9975 last week for the career high. Could she match it here tonight?
The crowd is calling for a 10. That was definitely flawless. No deductions there. You couldn't ask for more for this last routine to really end the night strong.
Go to the beam.
One more exhibition for Oklahoma.
Kira Wells, Faith Torres gets the 9975.
And this is really the greatest atmosphere you want to have for an exhibition routine because the crowd is rowdy. You can hear them booing. I'm guessing that means they did not give Lily a 10. Looks like she got, well, I don't know what the score is. We'll see what it is when it comes in. But having this boisterous crowd to practice this routine in the exhibition is really the best experience that you can get. And Kira Wells is handling it great so far. Very solid routine. She put her acro series on the back end of her beam routine, which you don't see very often. Finishing it off here. They round off 1.5 dismount, just a tiny hop. But a great exhibition routine to end that lineup.
It's going to be a 995 on floor for Lily Smith and Georgia. And Georgia will fall just shy of crossing over 198.
Man, they were so close. What a huge score, though, honestly, for both teams. It's the highest score for Oklahoma so far this season and definitely the highest score for Georgia as well. So both teams can walk away happy. This has been a fabulous meet in the SEC as Oklahoma prepares for its first SEC championship. This is a good intro into that. But they've got some tough competition to face next competition.
Sydney Fitzgerald will go, or excuse me, it is Sydney Fitzgerald on exhibition here for Georgia. We'll look at the camera there.
And Sydney's been in the floor lineup a couple times this year as well. This is just to keep her in competition shape. Great start with that Rudy back layout step out. Having so much fun with this routine. She's been a Gym Dog fan her whole life, so to come and compete for the Gym Dogs is such a dream, and she's really been such a contributor all 3 years here for Georgia so far. They hit all their routines, and that's what they asked for, exhibitions as well. So I think Georgia can walk away very happy with their performance tonight, as can Oklahoma.
Absolutely. So 198.475 will be the score here tonight for Oklahoma. Georgia will get a 197.975.
On that last rotation, there was not one score counted below a 9.9. That is incredible for both teams. What an end to the night.
For Oklahoma, it'll be its season high score. And we talked about it at the open of the broadcast. You want to get that high score here at the end of the season, especially on the road. That's going to be a big one.
It definitely is, and yet again, both teams got their highest score of the season, but they still had mistakes that they can fix. So that's got to definitely help their confidence heading into the postseason.
Both teams starting to really compete at a high level at the right time of the year. So we'll look at how we got to those final scores. We'll start on vault here tonight for Oklahoma.
Some big gymnastics tonight with some very clean landings from Oklahoma, which is what we expected. But then we also had some for Georgia as well, which is exactly what they were looking for. That huge vault from Nyla Aquino.
And Lily on bars here.
Winning bars tonight with that beautiful routine.
So Torres here on beam for Oklahoma.
Yeah, and Oklahoma, again, they're known for their consistency. They have been known for their consistency, and they just showed that again tonight. And then,
9.975.
And Georgia really capping off the night with this floor rotation. It was so much fun, exactly how they wanted to end the night, and they honored their senior tonight with this huge score.
Georgia counting all 9 nines on that floor routine and finishing the meet strong here with a season-high score. And so to your point, got to be certainly pleased there as you get a tie, Bowers and Torres on the all-around here tonight. Overall, you're pleased if you're both teams. Obviously, little things to work on. You left some on the table, which is certainly a good thing here, but you get your season high at the same time. That's the best of both worlds.
Exactly. So they continue to improve, and that's exactly where they want to be heading into these huge competitions. They say that the SEC championship is almost like a second national championship, and so they've got a big meet ahead of them, and to end the regular season with their highest scores, it's exactly where they wanted to be.
Well, a good meet here tonight in the finale of the regular season as both teams get their season high score here on Friday Night Heights, and it was a good one in Athens, recognizing the seniors and get things lined up in time for the postseason. Oklahoma and Georgia, appreciate you making us a part of your Friday night here on the SEC Network. For our entire SEC Network crew and Cat Hires, Caleb Brady, so long from Athens, where Oklahoma, a winner here tonight, 198-475.